home, left the daddy all alone. I have tried in vain, nevermore to call your name. When you left, you broke my heart. That will never make us part. Every hour in the day, you can hear me say, baby, won't you please come on, I need loving. Baby, won't you hurry home? Baby, won't you please come home? Left your little daddy all alone. I have tried in vain, never no more to call your name. When you left, you broke your daddy's heart, but that would never make us part. Every hour in the day, you can hear your daddy say, oh, babe, won't you please come on home? Daddy needs nothing. Baby, won't you please come home? I don't like your picture. They're full of stones. There they are. But I love that one. You do? Because they have no bones. Well, don't you give me no remains. Why? I can't stand ice cream. Don't get away. But I love bananas. Why? Because they contain nothing of bones. You know, no matter where I go, with Susie May or Anna, yeah, I want the world to know. I'm from Savannah. I love bananas, cabbages, onions, and skins. Yeah. They hurt my singing song. They do. But I love bananas. Why? Because they have many bones. We don't like to whistle. We blow saxophones. We like bananas. Why? Because they have no bones. Yeah. Stuff like grand piano. Uh-huh. We don't like its tone. Why? We love bananas. Because they have many bones. Uh-huh. Don't care what they cost. $1 or a nickel. You won't be double crossed. Don't you give me a pickle. But that up to do. Make your neck alone. I love bananas because they have no bones. Mr. Paganini, please play my rhapsody. And if you cannot play it, won't you sing it? And if you can't sing it, you simply have to swing it. I said swing it, oh swing it, and don't sing it. Oh, Mr. Paganini, we breakfast your waist, your masterful baton, go on and sling it. And if you can't sling it, you simply have to swing it. I said swing it, and Scaramouche and Scaramouche. We heard your epic war and at the carnival we greeted you with wild applause. What a great ovation, your interpretation of true yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Mr. Paganini, now don't you be a meanie. What have you up your sleeve? Go on and bring it. And if you can't bring it, you simply have to swing it.
heard your rap before and had the final thought. He greeted you with wild applause. What a great ovation, your interpretation. But to blah, oh, Mr. Shag and Lindy, now don't you be a meanie. What have you up your sleeve? Go on and bring it. And if you can't bring it, you simply have to swing it.
Oh, Anna. Can't see or hear anything at the moment.
See.
Let's make it visible. Don't wait. Time for one more song, or just about.
I've got something in my shoe.
Got a pebble in my shoe, buddy, ouch. Got a pebble in my shoe, buddy, ouch. Got a pebble in my shoe, buddy, ouch. I gotta keep dancing all the time. How did it ever get in my little toe deep? Never thought a pebble could be as nosy. Gotta shag it out of my little hole deep. Gotta keep dancing all the time. Now it's going through my heels. Maybe I got socks on heels. I know how a blue jeep feels. Hoy-day, hoy-day, hoy-day. Got a pebble in the shoe, buddy, got a pebble in the shoe, buddy,
No, but aren't you knowledgeable tonight?
Well, I've done my research, if that's what you mean. Yes, I have done my research on Wikipedia, thank you. So we're not talking about the Olympian gods. We're not talking about the Hammersmith Apollo. So what's left?
Let me think.
Who knows what our theme for tonight is?
Another Apollo.
That's right, it's the Apollo in Harlem. And that was the connection with Ella Fitzgerald, because you know why. Well, anyway, I'm going to change the style a little bit. I'm going to play another guy who also played at the Apollo, but maybe a little bit later than Ella. Well, actually, no, she probably played there as well, because she had a long career. But anyway, this is Johnny Otis and Shake It Lucy. So a little bit of rock and roll, and he made his name at the Apollo as well. Bit of an intro on this one, so a chance to have a quick drink and to enjoy yourselves.
And just to say, I believe YouTube is back on. If you prefer
Fantastic.
YouTube.
Yes. Well, the advantage of YouTube is you get these funny little pictures that surround us, you know, that says, that's edutainment.
That is edutainment.
Well, I don't know if it's education, I don't know if it's entertaining, but it's edutainment. That's the thing. Right, am I going to play some music or not?
Yes.
So, Shake It, Lucy, by Johnny Otis.
Lucy? What do you mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Orpheum Theatre proudly presents the Johnny Otis Show. Johnny Otis's orchestra and a sensational troupe of rock and roll entertainers, featuring Marie Adams of 3 Tons of Joy, Mel Williams, Jeannie Sterling of the Moonbeams, Little Arthur Matthews, and Jackie Kelso. And here he is, the king of rock and roll, Johnny Otis. Well, come on, cat, let's rock this joint tonight. Hey, come on, cat, let's rock this joint tonight. Shake it, Lucy, baby, everything's gonna be alright. We'll be rocking and rolling, jumping to the broad daylight. Yeah, we'll be rocking and rolling, jumping to the broad daylight. Come on and shake it, pretty baby, everything is gonna be alright. Oh, well, the band was rocking, they were having a ball. Lucy jumped up and shook the plaster off the wall. Oh, yeah. Shake it, Lucy, baby, everything is gonna be alright. Oh, kissing me goodnight. Yeah, I love sweet Lucy and the kisses are so juicy when she kisses me goodnight. I'll never leave her, I never will deceive her, and I'll never fuss and fight. Well, my sweet Lucy, she's my heart's desire. Well, my Lucy, baby, she set my soul on fire. Shake it, Lucy, baby, everything is gonna be alright. Yeah. One day in the middle of a rock and roll beat, Lucy started shaking in the middle of the street. She shot up in the air like a thunder jet. I guess she's still flying, we ain't found her yet. My own Lucy, baby, way on and on. Shake it, Lucy, baby, everything's gonna be alright. Yeah.
Right. Well, if that one didn't get you warmed up, I don't know what will. I forgot to mention. Oops. That's.
Viper's moan.
No, we don't want a viper's moan yet. We'll come back to that. I was going to. I lost my train of thought now. So.
I was just going to say, the YouTubers have missed your big introduction.
Oh,
We're not
no.
going to repeat it, but do you want to tell them what today's theme is all about?
Yes, today's theme is a night at the Apollo, and I just read a little. Well, I copied a gentleman called Willie Bryant who did Showtime. I quoted a gentleman called Willie Bryant who did Showtime at the Apollo for many years, and that was one of his opening speeches on one of the. One of the shows. Yeah. So he was one of the creators of the Shim Sham, and he was a band leader, because actually that track that you just heard play, A Viper's Moan, was actually Willie Bryant and his orchestra.
Oh.
So he was a very good MC, a master of ceremonies. We've got Susan Carr, howdy. And who else have we got? Donatella.
Warren and Eva, hello.
Fantastic. Warren, Eva, excellent.
Donatella. Also, it sounds like she's connecting from Italy. Marguerite, Sean, Karen.
Fantastic.
Frank,
And what about on
hello.
YouTube? Have we got YouTube back now?
Yes, we do have YouTube back on, and a few of you have found us again, so thank you very much. I don't know what happened, but now I think I know what to do when it does crash.
Oh, what's that? Turn off and turn on?
Yes.
That is the classic remedy. Technology is my forte, and that is one of the tricks that I learned early on. Okay, Anna,
Yes.
how's your week been? What have you been up to this
Oh,
week?
it's been so busy, but this week has been very special because we have done something that we haven't done in a long time.
I don't think you can tell people that on air.
It was safe.
I'm just going to go outside.
No, this week, for the first time in 3 months,
Oh, yes.
we have seen people, real people in real life, and not just the people at the post office, but we actually have seen friends in the garden very safely at a distance, and how lovely that was. Really was so nice, just different type of interaction.
Yeah, I've got to say,
Plus the cake was
obviously,
delicious.
we've been in lockdown, and literally, I can't believe it's been so long,
Yeah.
3 months, and that was our first social occasion.
Stuck with me.
I know. Yeah, well, no, it's talking to you. It's lovely, and yeah. So there we go. What can I say? Okay, enough of that.
How
Banter.
about you? What have you been about?
Well, my week was different. You know, I noticed a huge difference when we had lots of rain and how do you call it, cold weather.
No,
But
yeah.
it definitely,
More
you know,
miserable.
it didn't make you want to go for walks. It didn't make you want to go and sit in the garden. and it was definitely harder when the weather was bad. We're so lucky we've had such amazing weather, and again today the weather is beautiful. So you go and queue up outside a shop in this weather, not a problem. But what happens if it gets to October and we're having to queue up? That'd be amazing.
Miserable.
Chico, welcome. Great to see you. I hope you're wearing something splendid. I expect that you're dressed up in some suit or something, and I expect to see a photo later. For the Apollo. That's right, night at the Apollo. Okay, so it's time to do our Charleston, really. So, in fact,
right. So it's time for all of us.
So, in fact, we've missed
Charleston.
Viper's Moan, and I've got something a little bit different. I thought it's something a little bit different. It's nothing actually connected to the Apollo, I'm afraid.
Or to Charleston.
Or to Charleston, really. But I thought.
But you thought you'd play it anyway.
But I play it anyway. And this is a copy us one, just make it up. And it's actually called Chinese Man, and it's a little bit of that electro swing. But don't tell anyone I'm playing electro swing. Why not? Once in a blue moon, you've got to go a bit crazy. That's my theory, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, I'd never.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. A little show.
This recording is volume 3.
Everybody up, let's make a big circle.
Unintended indiscretions before microphone and camera.
So come and join us.
Several years ago, and listened to this floating announcement on the Lux Radio Playhouse, and it was made by actor Joseph Buck.
Sense of sound, right? Now you know how to play. We're going to give you certain sounds to identify. Now.
Oh gosh, that was like a Lindy workout. That was a Lindy workout. That was. Talking of Lindy workouts, I've decided I might do some Lindy workouts.
Oh,
If
dear.
anybody's who's interested in a Lindy workout session, a bit like that, we just do some dance moves, make it up as we go along, and you copy. So if you are, let us know. Let us know. Interested in the Lindy workout? Say I'm in.
Say I.
I say I. I'm in. Right. That was a. It's very warm in here
Yeah,
today.
quite
It's very warm.
well, yes, especially with closed windows and everything. But yeah, it was quite a stretch from Ella Fitzgerald to Artichaut.
Yes, it certainly was. Well, this is the point about tonight. We have no restrictions. We just go crazy, crazy, crazy. Now, I've got to give you some history. Did you know the Apollo in New York
Do you have to?
was, yes, because this is why it's edutainment.
Oh,
It's,
right.
it's the edutainment, it's the education part, and then it's
You
funny
do
the way I
education
deliver it.
And I do the entertainment part.
That's right, which made
What
me
a
laugh.
team.
What a team. Now, have you heard of Hurtig and Seaman?
Well, do you want me to say yes or no? What's going to stop you?
Prepared the script beforehand, didn't we? Actually, they were
Oh, Catherine
two
is in and Aaron as well.
burlesque. And I saw Lindsay. Hello, welcome, Lindsay. Nice to see you. Lindsay Marie Dinsmore, all the way from, is it Hawaii? I think.
Hawaii, we're
Hawaii.
coming over.
Yeah, let us know if it's Hawaii. Yeah, we want to come and
We'll
visit.
come for a...
So Hurtig and Seaman were burlesque operators. They had a burlesque house back in 1913. So 1913, and it was on 125th Street up in Harlem, really before it got to be known as Harlem.
So what was
they
a
had a burlesque
burlesque house? Was it like a...
Well, you're too young, so I can't tell you. It's like naughty theatre.
Was it private? Was it known, or was it more like a speakeasy?
If it was private, they wouldn't have made much money, would they? No. So basically, it was
No, but was it
entertainment.
like a speakeasy?
It was
Lawful.
rowdy entertainment.
Okay.
Bit
like us.
A bit like, yeah, burlesque, yes. Dear, she doesn't know what burlesque is. Okay, never mind. And then in 1928, it was taken over by Minsky. Now, Minsky was really famous. He was a famous burlesque owner as well.
Minsky Mouse?
Yeah, well, I know that because I saw a film where he was featured. And it's, so Bill Minsky, his name was. Bill Minsky, William Minsky to his friends. Anyway, he renamed it the Apollo on 125th Street. That was in 1928. Can you believe it? But it was becoming a large black urban area back then. Nonetheless, the audience and the entertainers at the Apollo were all white, would you believe?
Were they?
Although,
In the 20s? That was late 20s?
In the late 20s,
20s,
although the area was changing. So, when Cohen and Sussman took over, they purchased the Apollo in 1932, and they reopened it in 1934 as a black-orientated theatre. And it was one of the few, in fact, I think it was pretty much the only one where black artists could actually perform to a black audience. So it was quite special. So that was 1934. Though that was the...
And yet it was run by white people.
Yes.
According to the last name.
Yes, and then when
Judging back.
Cohen died, it was taken over by Schiffman, who was famous for having the Harlem Opera House as well, another theatre.
Yes.
So, but they realised there was a market. But however, I've got to say, when Sussman, and I read this all on their website actually. I'm not really that clever.
Apollo website.
The Apollo website, yeah. They have a lovely history, and
Clever is about finding the information.
yes. And what I didn't know was their first opening show, all the money was dedicated to a local Harlem charity for kids and that. So they were probably pretty nice folk, you know.
Sound like
in
it.
a hard world.
Yes.
Okay. So I was going
Chris
to do.
joined us. Hello, Chris.
So,
And
Anna,
yes.
let me ask you: do we want to do another Charleston, or should we do an Ella Fitzgerald?
It's not really a choice, is it?
Okay, let's go for Ella Fitzgerald, and we're choosing this one because it's the song that she was her first big hit. Now, why are we going to play a lot of Ella tonight? Because she was famous for having done something at the Apollo. If you know, send in your answers on a postcard and find out why Ella Fitzgerald was famous at the Apollo. So I'm going to skip one song, tell us why, and let's have another Ella song, A Tisket, A Tesket. Funny how a nursery rhyme became such a big hit.
Yeah,
There
it was
you go.
all her idea.
Yep. I saw the film Riding Cowboy with Abbott and Costello, not when it first came out, I have you know, but it featured Ella Fitzgerald doing that song because it was such a hit. She got into the movies with it, so that was quite something. And they had those Central Avenue dancers doing the Lindy Hop, and they had Dean Collins and lots of other people. So it was a big thing then, I think, for her. And she was, I think, now I've heard different reports. I've heard reports she was 15. I've heard reports she was 16. I've heard reports she was 17. When she appeared at the Apollo at the Amateur Night at the Apollo.
Was it the first amateur night?
Yeah, I believe it was the very first amateur night they had.
As well.
So we're not quite sure how old she was. The Apollo.
Because she was quite young.
She was young, and she was going to go and sing, and then she saw these.
She was going to go and dance.
Yeah, thank you. She was going to dance.
So explain what the amateur night was first.
Well, amateur night at the Apollo was basically where new talent, could go and show off. And
it's like Britain's Got Talent.
It's like Britain's Got Talent. But the Apollo, but a much harder audience, tougher than the judges. They were an audience that knew what they liked, and if they didn't like you, they'd boo and they'd throw things at you. Yeah. And if they liked you, you were basically made. And somebody saw her. She was dressed really badly. She was scruffy. She was basically a street urchin. And she made a name for herself there, as did many other people. Pearl Bailey, also. And in a minute, I'm going to look up. I've got a list of lots of different people that made it.
First of all, you were going to explain how she went in for dancing. How did she end up being a singer then?
Okay, so what happened was she was quite nervous. She was young. She was nervous, and the
Either
act,
15, 16 or 17.
yeah,
and nervous.
The act before her was a dance act. And I think there were two sisters or something.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
And they were very good. And basically she said, I'm not going to dance. And the MC at the time said, you're on, babe. So he basically pushed her out. And so she said, I'm going to sing a song. So she sang. And then somebody in the audience worked for Chit. He went over to Chit and said, you got to get this girl because she's brilliant. And he at first said, no way, Jose. I'm not having a little street urchin in my band. And especially with all these fellas, and a female singer, but in the end, they convinced her, and They convinced him, and I think from memory, he adopted her first of all, and then they ended up getting married. Yeah.
Did they get married?
I think so.
No, he was married.
Oh, was he? Okay,
yeah,
then
he was
adopted
married,
her.
but he adopted her. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was sort of a protector and
So interesting story. Well, we've got a few more stories coming up, but first of all, I think it is time for something sweet.
Oh, yes. Shall I get it?
Yeah, Anna, quick. Anna's going to rush off.
I'm in charge of sweet
and she's going to
things.
get something sweet. While I do that, I'm going to just play one more song. This is the return of Ella after she had the hit with a Tisket a Tesket. She did this one a bit later, and it's called I Found My Yellow Basket. Oh no, but Anna's back. Anna's back. So yeah, let's play one song first, and then we'll do our special sweet thing. Yes,
your yellow basket.
I found my yellow basket.
Fantastic. Request.
Do you remember when I sang the Tisket?
We do.
And the Tisket.
That too.
I lost my basket.
For yes, we did this story that you lost it. You made a thought of it. Do you?
Oh no, you don't have to. I've got good news for you. Just listen while I tell you of the dream come true. I found my yellow basket.
She did?
Oh yes, I really did. I
Good
found
news.
the girl who took it. I knew just where she is. She said that she was sorry and gave it back to me. Now I'm oh so happy, happy as can be.
Are you happy? Happy?
I'm so happy I don't know just what to do. And now I'm on my way, feeling light and gay. A Tisket, a Tesket, I found my yellow basket. Tisket, Tisket, Tisket.
Oh, we bet you are. Oh, we bet you are.
I'm so happy I don't know just what to do. And now I'm on my way, feeling light and gay. A Tisket, a Tesket, I found my yellow basket. Tisket, I'm on my way. Tisket, I'm on my way. Tisket, I'm on my way with my basket.
Wow, wonderful stuff. Ella Fitzgerald. So what time is it, Anna?
It is Birthday jam time. Woo.
Birthday jam time. Whoa, strawberry birthday. It's gone down,
it's
isn't it?
gone quite
It's
down.
gone down,
We
yes.
had a few episodes, haven't we?
Yes, yes. So, and whose birthday is it today?
Wait, it's not my birthday.
No, it's not your birthday. It's not my birthday. No,
Whose
no.
birthday is it?
It's Julia's birthday.
Is it Julie's
Happy
birthday?
Julie.
Happy
Well,
birthday.
it was a couple of days ago, I think.
Oh, well, it still counts.
So, yeah, basically, if you had a birthday
Celebrate
this
the
year,
month.
it counts.
Yeah.
Okay. Cindy, welcome from Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Twin Cities. Remind me, which one, Cindy? Yeah. So, gosh, we've got lots of people turning in from all places.
Yes, we have
now,
Maurizio as well.
Maurizio,
Connecting from Italy. Hello.
the wonderful Billy Bross big band. If you've never seen them, excellent. You've got to go and check them out. And
Plus they dress the best.
now, I've got a special song which Frankie Manning went to the Apollo. He was pushed into the Apollo to go into the competition by Whitey. And he basically wanted his dancers to get known. This was in the very early days, before they were actually professional Lindy hoppers. They were, in fact, wait a minute, I think I've actually got a book here written by this chap called Frankie Manning and Cynthia Millman. So Frankie Manning and Cynthia. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a little story here. I'm just going to read you because it is quite fun. So, Showtime at the Apollo. Around this time, there were lots of contests in Harlem. On Wednesday nights at the Apollo Theatre had an amateur competition. And on Thursday nights, they had a Lindy Hop contest. Every performer who was anybody played the Apollo or wanted to. I hope you're sitting comfortably. Because that audience really knew about entertaining. If you were good, they would let you know. And if you were bad, they'd let you know for sure. After I started dancing with Whitey's, he paired me up with a very good dancer who was new to the scene called Hilda Morris. In late 1934, we entered the Apollo Lindy contest and won. Woohoo! The prize was to appear for a week in the review that opened there the next day, and you worked with whatever band was on the bill. And on my very first stage show, was doing a whole week with Duke Ellington,
wow.
As you can imagine. So the next morning, he went into the rehearsal, and all the acts in the show were giving Duke Ellington their music. But we were such amateurs, we didn't have any music. And after everybody had handed theirs in, he walked up to me and said, "What's your name, kid?" I was shivering in my shoes with the great Duke Ellington standing before me. And I told him and introduced Hilda. Then he asked if we had any music. We said no, we were just going to dance. So he asked, what tune did he want to play? And in all innocence, I said, how about Let's Get Together, which is by Chick Webb. We don't play that, he said. Well, how about Nagasaki? We don't play that either. I figured all bands did these songs because they were so popular. As I later learned, Ellington rarely played other people's music, unlike Lucky Melinda and some of the others. So I was about to suggest anything else, and then Ellington said, is there any music of ours you'd like to dance to? And so Frankie said, now, we used to go and see Duke all the time at the Apollo and the Harlem Opera House. We loved his music, but there wasn't anything I heard that was at all danceable. It was fantastic music, and it was exotic, and we used to call it a jungle music, but his band just didn't work for Lindy Hoppers, at least in 1934. So, as it was before he came out with all the swing songs like Jack the Bear, Contail and a Melotone and Take the A-Trade, I'd been listening to Black and Tan Fancy, Mood Indigo, Sophisticated Lady, and all the other beautiful music, but nothing that was swinging. Finally, Ellington said, we have a tune called Stompy Jones. Would you like to hear it? And I said, I've never heard it, just play it and we'll dance. And that was I'm playing for our birthday jam. So here we go. Stompy Jones, Duke Ellington, for our birthday people. Now, if you don't know how birthday jam works, basically, whoever's birthday it is has to dance with everyone in the room. So you've got to make sure you dance with everyone, don't miss anyone out. You'll see I'm going to dance with Anna, and in fact, Anna's going to be our substitute birthday girl. It's not her birthday, but she's going to be the substitute birthday girl, and I'm going to dance with her, but I will be at least 10 different dancers. So, sorry, Anna. Right, here we go.
Happy birthday, Julia.
Stompy Jones, Duke Ellington. And next. And next.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
Julia, and everyone else out there with a recent or upcoming birthday.
Okay, we're going to come back to that one, but now we've got Shim Sham time. Everyone up, Shim Sham. Everyone up. Hit it. Whew, that was the lovely Shim Sham stomping at the Savoy just down the road from the Apollo, of course. Oh, it's very warm tonight, I tell you. Anyone would think it's coming up to summer. Right. So, so more stories. Well, actually, before we get onto the stories, so that book, if you haven't read it, there is an Italian version that Maurizio actually had written. And
Translated,
it's called
yes.
Translated, and it's not written, translated, and it's called Frankie Manning, and it was actually written by a guy called Frankie Manning and Cynthia Millman. So check out the book. I think available in all good bookstores and online. So yeah, check that out. Right. So just so you know, we do have a tip jar. If anyone thinks this dribble is worth a few coins, always appreciated. But otherwise, just give us a like. Do join our YouTube. We've got lots of free clips. In fact, all the classes that we do here at the beginning, or rather we don't do them here, but we put them up on YouTube and they're free. So you can all learn to dance for the cost of a YouTube connection, which is free. Now, are there any messages from anyone?
I'm not sure. There's a little pop-up there, but I don't know what that
A
means.
little pop-up? What does that mean?
I don't know. But we've got Caroline online, Caroline,
Fantastic.
and Jim and Jaylene. Hello.
Fantastic. And YouTube, have you died on us, or are you still there, YouTube?
YouTube is there. YouTube is here.
Fantastic.
YouTube is alive.
YouTube, we're getting lots of feedback and comments from Facebook, but YouTube, you're a little bit quiet. So we need you to be a little bit more vocal and express yourself and let us know that you're here and having fun and enjoying yourself, really. So I've got to tell you about the Apollo came up in the midst of a Great Depression, which I think is something we might very well be experiencing very soon ourselves, all across the world.
Or bring back the jazz that went with it.
Yes, the country was reeling from one of the highest rates of unemployment. Public lynchings were taking place across the country.
No, don't bring that back.
No, don't bring that back, but it does sound a bit like today, really. Yeah, so the first all-black show that appeared had Benny Carter, Ralph Cooper, who's a dancer and MC, and Ida Ward. So the
So it was that early 30s, right?
yeah, that was the
32
34. So they bought the place in 32.
Yeah.
They renovated it, and it opened in 34.
Wow, 2
Opened
years
for business,
to renovate it.
and I think it was a success right from
Do you
the
know what
beginning.
it looked like inside?
Well, I know what it looks like now inside. Clever. Well, as some of you may know, in 2014, 100 years after Mr. Frank Manning was born, they had the Frankie's 100, and I was lucky enough to say I've actually performed on the stage at the Apollo. Woo!
Did they throw anything at you?
No, but this man with a hook tried to drag me off. I don't know what that was about. Well, we'll come to that later. So, so I was on stage at the Apollo, and I was in the green room backstage with, well, obviously all the most fantastic crowd of people for the Frankie 100. Chester Whitmore was the choreographer, and Norma was there, and there was just so many people there. It was Facebook come to life. You know, it was amazing. So I feel very honoured. And did you know the Rhythm Hot Shots actually entered the amateur night at the Apollo Mon one, and they won.
They won,
I'm not
surprised. I'm not surprised, but I didn't know they entered. That's such a great idea.
And for those that don't remember, the Rhythm Hot Shots were the original Swedish dancers who started the Harang dance camp. They were before the Harlem Hot Shots, who were like the young kids on the block. So they had this amateur night, and the young Apollo, she won her first prize of $25.
Wow.
But I think it stands in good stead. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you. So Billie Holiday, and actually I had a Billie Holiday song ready, but I've lost it now.
We haven't had Billie Holiday in
Billie
a long
Holiday.
time.
So I want to do a quick poll. Who is your favourite? Ella Fitzgerald or Billie Holiday?
Oh, that's not fair.
Ella Fitzgerald or Billie Holiday? Who is your favourite? She also debuted at the Apollo along with Sarah Vaughan and Mariah Carey.
Not at the same time, I don't think.
Not at the same time, no. And many other people.
When you say debuted, did she have her first professionally, or did she also go to the amateur night? You know.
Actually, I don't know. Most of the information
Maybe
I've got, I
story
actually
for another day.
I pinched from the Apollo website. So thank you, Apollo, for
we'll have to write
that
one.
out. So the competition, I mean, who will be the next Ella Fitzgerald or James Brown or Michael Jackson? So you've got to go to the Apollo Amateur Night to find out.
Is it still on? Does it still exist?
Yeah,
there?
They do have it.
Oh my gosh, it's been running for a long time.
Well, it had a few breaks. Few breaks in between, but they brought it back, and I think it'll be a special. I didn't go on that night, unfortunately.
You didn't tell us how it looks like inside now. Is it lavish or is it dated?
I wouldn't say it was lavish. I wouldn't say it was lavish.
Big? Is it impressive to be on the stage?
Oh my God! Well, impressive to be on the stage.
Apart from the history.
Because you just think of all the people that have been on that stage before you, and you've managed to like stand on that stage. It's like whoa, that in itself, and being in the green room, being backstage was just thinking. I'm probably standing where Nat King Cole stood, or I'm probably standing where Sammy Davis Jr. stood, or I'm probably, it was like amazing. Have we had any votes? We've got one for
Ella Fitzgerald.
And well, let me play you a Billie Holiday song because it might convince a few people.
Are we stuck again on YouTube?
Are we stuck on YouTube?
No, I don't think we are.
No.
Just very quiet.
Margarita, I'm sorry. Margarita, you're late. I don't believe it. That's outrageous. But lovely to see you, of course. I'm only teasing. Picture is better on YouTube, so maybe mix the feed. So people are saying this, they're having stereo. They're having, maybe actually, Anna, they're having you on Facebook and me on YouTube. That could be the answer. Right. I am going to go back to my music.
Oh, yeah, I can't see all the... Oh, right.
You can't see the comments. Yours is frozen.
Why.
I'm going to play Blue Moon by Billie Holiday.
Oh, yes. We got a second vote for Ella.
Yeah. Now you got to admit that was pretty classy. That was a classy song. The wonderful Billie Holiday. Can you imagine seeing both Ella and Billie and having to decide between them?
That happened, didn't it?
That did happen at the Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, the Battle of the Bands. Chick Webb against.
Yeah, that must have been Chick Webb against Count Basie, wasn't it?
What? So was Ella with Count Basie?
No, Ella
Webb.
was Chick Webb, and I think Billie Holiday was with Count Basie. And if I'm mistaken, somebody will correct us, but I'm pretty sure about that. So, who else have we got joining us?
Oh, Daria, Julia are online, and YouTuber, I'm not sure because apparently my YouTube is frozen.
Oh,
so hopefully not
YouTube
their
is
YouTube.
frozen. Okay,
Well,
so
sort of,
so the Apollo Theatre was the largest employer of black theatrical workers, also behind the scenes as well as in front on the stage. And again, that was quite unusual. So it had quite a history, and that was going back to the 30s.
It's such a variety in Harlem at the time, wasn't it? There was entertainment, there was, you know, the Cotton Club, there was the Savoy that was integrated, and there was the Apollo dedicated to black people. Were white people allowed at the Apollo? Or
Oh,
was,
yeah, to go into the
yeah,
audience.
yeah. So it was sort of integrated, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, at least when I went, it was. Right, now, one of the interesting stories was a tap dancer that I was lucky enough to see in the 90s, and that was Howard Sandman Sims, famous for his sand dance. And he was an African-American tap dancer.
Did he have a lisp? With all those S's.
I don't believe he did. I can't believe she said that. Can you believe, folks, she said that? Honestly. What can you do? You can't get the staff these days. That's all I can say. So he was hired. He was in vaudeville as a tap dancer. Actually, he wanted to be a boxer. I read it.
So they all wanted to do something else, and then they go to the Apollo and they changed career.
Fame and fortune. Anyway, in the mid-1950s, he was hired as the Apollo's stage manager, but his role became more famous as the executioner.
Oh.
And he was the one on stage who would run on with a hook, and he would drag you off. And he sometimes he would use a broom.
By the entertainer.
Well, actually,
it was part of the show, wasn't it?
It was part of the show, and he would wear funny costumes. I think one time he even came out in a diaper. He would wear funny costumes, and I'm sure now this is going from my memory, and it might not be correct, but I'm sure Frankie Manning said that he was on stage once, and they tried to give him the hook, and he kept running away. But I might be mistaken with someone else. Maybe somebody could tell me if they know of that story. So he would come on and he would pull people off, and that must have been quite funny. I'm sure he used to
save
chase
you from the rotten tomatoes.
Yeah, but he was quite nice. I believe backstage he was very nice to you, and he would say that just try a little bit harder and come back next year. So there we go, Sandman Sims. I haven't played any 45s yet, so I've got I'm going to dig out my rock and roll. Well, I've got Smiley Lewis, and this one is a 45, and it's called Hook, Line and Sinker. Not Stinker, Sinker. So
Who's doing bad jokes now?
Let's get one of my 45s out. This is dusting off the old record collection.
And there's another car on the other side. It's an advert. Wildcat Records.
Yeah, rock and roll, baby.
She's got me hooked, line and sinker. Everywhere I turn, but when I got around her, my heart aches and it burns. La la la, she called me her sweet papa. She's a little bit of mama, and she thought she'd come around. But when it comes to loving, she really puts it down. La la la, she called me her sweet papa. She fits me to a T. I'm so glad it's me. Now like reading a storybook, help me and I'm I'm so glad it's me. Now like reading the storybook, she got me and a hook. She's got a sweet disposition. She always wears a smile. But if I ever lose her, I'll be just like a child. La la la, la la la. She called me a sweet papa.
Yeah, wonderful, smiling Lewis, hook, line, and sinker, and digging out the old 45s there. And yes, as somebody, as Margarita pointed out, both singers are so different. It's really hard. It's like saying, which do you prefer, an orange or an apple? Do you prefer chocolate or vanilla? Strawberry or salted caramel?
Oh,
there's no question, is there? Salted caramel. I know you. Sweet tooth. Okay, so I've
sweet teeth, I think, would describe me better.
Sweet teeth. I've been doing a 66-day challenge, as some of you will know.
How far are you?
And well, I might have got a bit lost in a day or two, but basically it's about 61 days, which means I've only got 5 days left. So I've loved it. I've gained so much from doing it, and I know a few of you have been doing it, and I've heard some very good feedback. And it's about building up new habits. It's about deciding what do we want to do with our lives. How can we get more meaning in our lives? And what could be better than building up positive habits that we like? And the interesting thing for me is that doing that dancing is actually where I started. It's how I started to dance. I used to dance. I used to look at old clips. I used to put music on and dance. And it sort of brings me back. And ultimately, one thing's for sure, I never went into this profession for the money. Let's say that. I think there's no question there. I did it because I loved the dance and the passion. And I think this lockdown has been good because it's reignited my passion for the dance. You know, you get out the habit of dancing for pleasure when you do it for a living. You can end up just teaching. You've
had a bit of a rediscovery as well, because you can get busy teaching and preparing material and preparing for a show and organizing dances. But I think this has given you the time to just think about the dance and think about what you like and just look back at clips just for you without any motive.
Yeah, we're certainly not for the money, that's for sure. Right.
Again, not for the money.
No, that's another story. But anyway, let's. You wanted to ask people about this show, didn't you?
Yes,
You had a question for people.
Very
important. So pay attention.
It is very important.
Okay, drinks down. Put your cakes down, drinks down. Pay attention. Very important question.
We need all of you to vote, actually. So we are thinking of not stopping the show at all, just to wake you up. We're not stopping the show, but we are going to make it a 1 hour and a half show instead of a 2 hour show. Now,
or not. It depends what you say.
Unless you shout, no, we want 3 hours. But if we were going to make it a 1 hour and a half show, would you prefer A, 7:30 to 9 p.m. on a Monday, or 8 to 9:30 p.m.? So same starting time or same ending time as we currently do. And
also, do you know, would you be terribly upset if it was an hour and a half, or do you feel that that actually that's quite good? We were thinking it's longer than a cinema film. You know, most cinema films are like an hour and a half or shows.
Lord of the Rings.
Apart from Lord of the Rings, yeah, especially go for the triple bill or Star Wars triple bill.
Star Wars. Yeah. You should do a Star Wars episode.
Yeah.
Swing Wars. Swing Wars and Lord of the Swing. I think Chester had that idea already.
Yeah, Chester had Lord of the Swing. So anyway, what are they going to vote on? 1, the timing. 2, if you think an hour and a half.
Just vote on the timing. But if you'd rather we keep the 2 hours, just let us know that. And that answers the timing question.
And the point about voting is have your say. Don't you know? To be honest, we want to do what you want, and we just feel that. 2 hours could be quite long for some of you. We've got one message here that says 7:30. So 7:30 has so far winning the vote.
Thanks, Aaron, for making the decision.
Okay.
Any votes on YouTube?
Any votes on YouTube? Let's have a look. You can't see them, so I'm quickly going to switch over to.
All of you YouTubers.
No, I'm not seeing any votes on YouTube for that. So come on, YouTubers, don't let us down. Let's get involved. This show is only as good as your participation. Well, tough today, aren't I? tough today. Right. Somebody says,
7:30 as well. There's 2 to 0. Sorry.
2 for 7:30. Yeah, you're winning. 7:30 is winning. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to play another unusual song. You might ask, why am I playing all these unusual songs? Because I'm in that sort of mood.
And you've got control over the DJ.
I'm going to come back. We had a request. I'm going to play that a bit later. I haven't forgotten. But I'm going to play a song that was another guy who was connected with the Apollo. And I think everyone should get up and... Oh, there's another vote.
Yeah, we've got a vote. Chris is bringing controversy. Not controversy, yeah. 8 starters better for Chris. Keep voting. We'll see what happens.
Think when people go back to work,
I know,
it might be different. Yeah, people might go back to work. Okay, so this next song is also somebody has a big connection with the Apollo. It's a little bit different, and I seem to have actually lost it. So this one, everybody can dance. So everyone, let's get up. Let's get off of that thing and let's just do it. Oh yeah! Let's party! that was a good bit of dad dancing on my part.
Can't resist.
So, couldn't resist a bit of James Brown, can you? So, got to have a little party every now and then. So, 66-day challenge. I have got a new challenge coming up, and I think I'm going to start it next Monday. So, if anyone wants to join me, they can. And it's going to be a technology slash labour saving challenge. So what I mean by that,
how to explain that one?
Yeah, well, I'm going to explain it. So every day for 66 days, I want to improve my knowledge on shortcuts. I want something that's going to improve the quality of my life. That could be learning to type faster. That could be learning how to use YouTube better without it freezing. That could be learning how to any technology. And I'm going to try and get one tip a day. So yeah, it doesn't be. It might be I watch a clip on how to edit better, so I can do better editing. And every day I'm going to try and maybe post one little tip that I think is quite useful and handy, and other people may like it, and maybe if other people do the same. So it's like condensed. So what it means is that, you know, you're not having to, okay, I can watch it for half an hour and come away with one tiny weeny itsy bitsy little tip, and somebody else might do the same thing, and it saves me 29 minutes of watching the whole program just to get that one good gem. So it's I'm calling it my technology challenge to get up to date with the kids, like my dancing.
A new man.
I'll be a new man. Well, I've decided I'm not going to be afraid of technology any longer. I'm going to be the master of my technology. I'm going to be the whiz kid on the computer. So all you computer geeks, you better watch out because I'm coming to town. Okay, yeah, I do have a bit of a way to go, confession time. But I'm going to master this technology. 66 days to become a pro. Yeah. Okay, so that's my next challenge. What have we got there? Ingrid is now watching. Welcome. So we're taking votes on the starting time, 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Have your vote now. Have your say. You can always email us after the show. You know, as long as it's in the next 20 minutes, that's fine. No, you can email us in the next few days, anytime, and it'll be lovely. Right, 66-day challenge over. We actually haven't done our bow. We haven't done our bow section yet, but I think...
Yeah, but we've done some James Brown.
Yeah, we've done some James Brown, and I think we should have another Otis... sorry, I've given the game away. The request. I'm going to save the request. The request is coming. That's a good song. I'm going to save that. But right now, I think it's time for another Johnny Otis, because he was also connected with the Apollo, and he was famous for this song. Some of you younger ones might know it, because obviously it's from the 50s, and it goes like this. Now, there's a little dance to go to this. Let's see.
I know Captain when I'm with it.
Everybody.
He got a cool little chick named Rockin' Billy. He walking, strolling through the queue, and do that crazy hand I do. I'm so ready to run my home. You and that hand job's got to go. Well, that mama don't put me down.
One more time.
Have you got it yet?
Wait a minute, here we go. One more time. From the top.
Mama, look out for Joe. I was just a flow. Grandma gave me sister time. Said do that hand job one more time.
Wait a minute, you won.
Doctor and a lawyer and an MD. Now they all think that crazy. Where I really get them on the street. Oh, when you did that hand job with his feet. Hand job, hand job, hand job. Do that crazy hand job, hey, hey. back on TV.
One more time.
You're just crazy and blind.
Crazy man.
Hey, hey, hey.
I do feel quite sorry for anyone that just sort of like has just joined us just now and they're wondering what's going on. That was Johnny Otis. That was, Willie and the Hand Jive. Famous because he was a big celebrity and he made his name at the Apollo, which is what our theme has been today. Gosh.
But the hand jive wasn't made at the Apollo.
No.
It was made in London, wasn't it?
Well, actually, I think you're right. At the
what's the name of the club?
Not the Two Eyes. No,
but
it's the other one.
something similar.
The Cat's Whiskers or something.
Whiskers.
The Cat's Whiskers.
The Cat's Whiskers.
And yeah, because they were like, it was so crowded. There was no room for dancing. It was a little coffee bar, and they were all squashed in, weren't they? Yeah. And they were trying to do percussions with their hands.
Yeah. The hand jive, born in London.
Ah, there you go. You see, we've exported
music.
So we've exported some good dancers. That and the Lambeth Walk. Right.
There's a theme with the hand.
There's a theme with the hand. So, okay, gosh, well, we're running out of time. So have people voted? Have we had any more votes?
I don't know, on YouTube.
Oh, okay, I have to go to YouTube.
On Facebook.
Right.
Well, who's in charge here?
Oh, okay, well, it looks like we're getting more 730s.
More 730. Sorry, Chris, you're not...
or is it the same people voting on both platforms?
No, it's
not.
You
are allowed to vote twice.
They are honest. Simon.
Yes, okay. So we're voting if you want the start time to be 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Still chance to get your vote in. Every vote is a winner and get it in there. Right, okay. I think it's time for a little bit of Balboa. Come on, we haven't done any Balboa tonight. And have you noticed my spiffy new shoes? Let me show the world.
Well, I think you should. I think you did.
Oh no, not the sole. My specs. Now, they have an interesting story themselves.
Come and show us.
Because...
How old are these shoes?
Well, it's a good story.
How new are these shoes?
How new are these shoes? These shoes have never been worn before. They are brand new. And I bought them from Shelley's on the corner of Covent Garden and Shelton Street. And I bought them, I believe, from memory, in the late 80s. And I never wore them.
You were keeping them safe.
I was keeping them safe. I actually bought two
Today
pairs.
was the day.
Today was the day. I bought 2 pairs and I wore the other one about 2 months ago and they broke. And I assumed it was because they were so old that the glue or the stitching must have dried or whatever and they just broke. But anyway, these have stood the test of time. Like,
show us, lift your trousers, show us.
They're my spats. Now, I used to go to the WAG club. Anyone remember the WAG? Known as the Whiskey a Go-Go, but not the Cash Whiskers. Whiskey a Go-Go, the WAG. And that's where the Brothers in Jazz, Wayne Irving Trevor, and the IDJ, Jerry and all those guys used to hang out, and Marshall, and it was fantastic. I used to go there. I used to go to the Rock and Roll Club, the Two Eyes, on a Monday night, and that finished at midnight, and it was fantastic. Danced all night long, rock and roll. And then I walked over to Wardour Street, and I went to the WAG Club, and we finished at like 3 in the morning, and then we'd all go and get a milkshake at McDonald's afterwards. It was like an all-night McDonald's, and we just danced all night. It was amazing. It had 3 floors, and on the ground floor as you go in, that was like where most people went. That was like, yeah, forget that. Then on the middle floor, they had the live music, and they had some really good bands. I mean, we're talking Big Town Playboys, Slim Gaylord. They had amazing bands. And then upstairs, there was that little staircase. You barely knew it was there. You go upstairs, and that's where the hardcore dancers were. People like Sylvester, Giles Peterson, Baz for Jazz. All these amazing DJs were playing music. And it was really funny because one time they had a competition. They had a competition for the best. And I ought to explain, IDJ stands for I Dance Jazz. And there were solo jazz dancers originally coming out of the Northern Soul scene, but from the jazz rooms. And they would all dance solo, but like they drop into the splits and they do multiple turns and they could do fast feet. And they were absolutely, amazing dancers. And then I sometimes would take a friend with and we'd do some sort of jive and swing. And they loved it. So they had this competition, and we got very good at dancing to this like bebop music, and we danced very fast. I was young then. No,
Before?
I think it was with Natalie. It was before actually. So I think I went with a girl called Natalie, and we danced. And they actually gave us a joint first prize. I think because we were the only jive couple, and they were just like, they hadn't really seen jive. They didn't really know it, and so they were quite impressed. And the fact that we could actually keep up with the very fast bebop music. It then got, the music changed actually over the years. It got a bit funky and a bit Latiny, and then I sort of went off it a little bit. But I liked it when it was the hardcore jazz. Anyway, saying that, it's actually time to play that request. We had a request for another Ella Fitzgerald, which you can't get enough of, I might say. And did she win our vote in the end?
I think so, yes.
She just won the vote. Sorry, Billy, we love you, but
We love you too.
Ella has got the vote. So we're going to play another Ella song, and it's called Sing Me a Swing Song and Let Me Dance. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to sing you out with, oh, not quite sing you out. We've still got time for one more after that. But okay, sing me a swing song. I'll say that in reverse. Sing me a swing song and let me dance. Who requested it?
Joanne.
Joanne. So this is for you. Should we dance? Come on then.
Give me a song that's over, feeling the way I am. Any old band is over, if it ain't got that chance. When nobody needs nobody on the ballroom floor, and nobody asks nobody what the swing band for. Oh baby, I don't want you to soft and mellow. Let me warm you in advance. Sing me a swing song and let me dance. Oh baby, I don't want you bright and yellow. You can have your sweet romance. Sing me a swing song and let me dance. Mr. Trombone, play some song. I ain't caring what notes. Mr. Trumpet, grab a horn. Brother, give me hot notes. Oh, baby, I don't want you on the cello. Give the rhythm and a chance. Sing me a swing song and let me dance. Let me warm you in advance. Sing me a swing song and let me dance. You can have your sweet romance. Just sing me a swing song and let me dance. Mr. Trombone, play some fun. I ain't caring what note. Mr. Trumpet, grab a horn. Brother, give me hot notes. Oh, baby, I don't want to be on the cello. Give the rhythm and a chance. Sing me a swing song and let me dance. Oh, chick, where the beating it out. Makes me feel like I want to shout. All the boys are ready to dance. So sing me a swing song and let me dance.
Right. So, what have we got to say? What's coming up next week? What's next week's theme, Anna?
What is next week's theme?
I think we're going exotic.
Ooh, we are going exotic.
Exotic.
Get your flowers ready.
Cocktails,
and your
cocktails. Ooh, yes. It's our tiki party next week. So, Hawaiian shirts are the order of the day. Cocktails are the order of the day.
Grass skirts.
Grass skirts, coconuts, and big flowery umbrellas in your cocktails, please. Go as bright and as colourful as you wish. You can have Polynesian masks. What else can they do for tiki? Put up a nice bamboo bar in the back corner.
Ooh, yes.
So, you know, this week, if you're not working, just build one. You know, let's build a. I will be. I'm going to go to Paul's neighbours and get the bamboo and build a nice. Paul, in fact, Paul can build a bamboo bar, can't he?
Probably
Yeah,
be
so
able to,
so
yeah.
yeah, so let's go. We're going to
Or
go
is
a
that
bit
your
50s.
technical new skill? Building a
No,
bar?
not practical. I'm not a DIY person. I have no. I heard that. I have no desire to be a DIY person, but I'm going to be a technical person. When my new technical thing starts, technical challenge starting next Monday. Some of you, I hope, will join me. We're going on a 66 days of improving our technical knowledge. We are going to become masters of all before us because technology is the future. In fact, I think we should definitely have a space program. We should definitely do a space theme, I think is the answer.
I was just going to say, are you going to continue dancing after your 66 days dancing challenge?
Yes. That goes without saying. But in fact, we said it. Yeah, no, I'm going to continue dancing
because I've heard a lot of you have who have taken up the challenge said, well, you know, I'm loving it so much, I'm never going to stop.
Well, I hope I'll never stop because when I stop, I'll probably be dead. So, yep. So I'm going to keep dancing. Oh dear, what's happened there?
Coming from St.
Oh yeah, as always,
they cut us off in our prime because it is actually the end of the show. So
it's
we're going to have to say
still on YouTube. We haven't lost you, and we're very quickly we're back live with no one watching.
We haven't lost you, but we didn't get many messages. So
no. Well, they're listening. They're all ears and no fingers.
Oh dear. Right, so what should we play you out with? I did have a song, which is actually going to be my last song, and I've actually...
A last song for you on YouTube, for you on Facebook, if you've joined us again.
Actually, I'm going to not finish with the slow one, because we had a slow one a little bit earlier. I'm going to finish with...
Aaron's back, and Julia, excellent. Just for the last song.
You're back. Oops. No, that's not the one. You're back in time for us for the last song. We're going to go back to Willie Bryant because he was one of the best MCs. If you didn't hear my little speech at the beginning, check it out. It is on YouTube. It's on Swing at Sway Online, and it's at the very beginning of the show. Well, sort of 8 o'clock-ish. I read this little thing that I stole from Willie Bryant.
Except I think it was frozen.
Oh, it was frozen. Well, you didn't hear it. Shame. You'll have to come back next year when I do it all again. And what can I say? We do have PayPal. What is it? PayPal.
PayPal.me/SwingdanceUK, which is our virtual tip jar. If you'd like to leave a tip, hopefully we've edutained you. You've learned something. You've enjoyed something. You've danced. You've got up. You've enjoyed the music, Yes,
and nobody said if they were interested in my Lindy workout. I was thinking about doing
yes, several people did.
Oh, they did? Oh, I didn't see.
I think two or three people said I'm in.
Fantastic.
So you have a crowd.
Well, that's enough. That's 2 or 3 is a crowd as far as I'm concerned. So we are going to do, I'm going to do a Lindy workout challenge for all of you who want to keep active at home doing Lindy steps. No partner required. This is just sort of solo steps. Some jazz steps.
On YouTube, on Facebook, it's going to be live. Do you know?
It's going to actually, yes, I do know. It's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be on our YouTube channel. So if you're not on our YouTube channel, subscribe onto our YouTube channel so you don't miss it, because you really don't want to miss it. So you have to subscribe, and also if you're on our emailing list, you can whitewall our emails. Now, I tell you that because, see, I've started my technology challenge already. Did you know you can whitewall emails so you don't miss any?
I've seen you send me an email about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole point is we're going to share the knowledge. I'm going to put one tip out a day, maybe not every day. I'm going to put one tip out that all of you can say, wow, I've just learned something. Or you'll go, he didn't know that, I don't believe it. And I'm hoping you'll do the same. Okay, it is actually time to finish. So let's, a stone's throw at the sun. Willie Bryant, this one's to play you out. Good night, God bless, and we'll see you all next week. And over to you, Anna. What's your final word?
Good night.
The team and John Reed, welcome. It's the end. But thank you for joining us.
Goodbye.
Last chance for a dance. Grab your partners for the last dance.
Who are you going to grab? Good night, all.
Good night, all. See you next week.